That idea is basically trying to explain leg weakness after 60 as something caused by missing a few specific foods, but that's an oversimplification. Muscle loss with age is usually connected to a mix of factors like reduced physical activity, lower protein intake, changes in hormone levels, vitamin deficiencies, and slower recovery. Food matters, but it is only one part of the bigger picture. As people get older, the body becomes less efficient at maintaining muscle mass, a process often called sarcopenia. If the diet does not provide enough high-quality protein, the muscles do not get the building blocks they need to stay strong. Common nutrients that support leg strength include protein from eggs, fish, chicken, beans, and dairy, vitamin D, which helps muscle function and is linked to sunlight exposure and fortified foods, calcium for bone support, and omega-3 fats from foods like fish and nuts that may help reduce inflammation. Magnesium and potassium from fruits, vegetables, and legumes also support muscle contraction and nerve signaling. Vitamin B12 becomes important as absorption can decrease with age, and low levels can contribute to weakness and fatigue. Leg strength after 60 is also strongly influenced by movement. Even with a good diet, muscles weaken if they are not used regularly. Walking, resistance exercises, and balance training play a major role in keeping the legs functional and stable. Nutrition supports the system, but activity is what signals the body to maintain strength. Protein intake becomes increasingly important after the age of 60 because the body naturally begins to lose muscle mass and strength due to a process known as age-related muscle decline. This happens partly because the body becomes less efficient at using protein to build and repair muscle tissue. In younger years, even moderate protein intake combined with daily activity is usually enough to maintain muscle. However, in older adults, the same amount of protein often does not stimulate muscle repair as effectively, so muscles gradually weaken if intake is not adjusted. Muscles are constantly breaking down and rebuilding in a process called muscle protein turnover. Protein from food provides amino acids, which are the building blocks needed to repair and maintain muscle fibers. When protein intake is too low, the body cannot fully repair daily muscle damage. Over time, this leads to a slow reduction in muscle size and strength, especially in the legs, which are used for standing, walking, climbing stairs, and maintaining balance. This is why weakness often becomes noticeable in the lower body first. After 60, another change happens in the body called anabolic resistance. This means that muscles require a higher amount of protein per meal to trigger the same level of muscle building response that younger adults experience with less protein. If meals are low in protein or unevenly distributed throughout the day, the muscle building response becomes weaker. As a result, even if a person eats enough calories overall, insufficient protein quality or timing can still lead to muscle loss. Low protein intake also affects recovery. Everyday activities such as walking, lifting objects, or even standing for long periods create small amounts of stress in muscle fibers. In younger people, recovery happens quickly, but in older adults, recovery slows down. Without enough protein, this repair process becomes incomplete, and small losses accumulate over time. This contributes to fatigue, reduced endurance, and a feeling of heaviness in the legs. Another important factor is that reduced protein intake often leads to a cycle of inactivity. When leg muscles feel weak, a person tends to move less. Less movement further reduces muscle stimulation, which accelerates muscle loss. This cycle can progress gradually, making it difficult to notice until mobility becomes significantly affected. Good protein sources include eggs, fish, lean meats, dairy products, legumes, lentils, and soy products. These foods provide essential amino acids that help maintain muscle structure and function. Spreading protein intake evenly across meals throughout the day is more effective than consuming most of it in a single meal because muscles respond better to regular stimulation. In addition, combining adequate protein intake with light resistance exercise or regular walking helps the body use protein more effectively. Physical activity signals the muscles to stay active, while protein supplies the material needed for repair. Without both elements working together, muscle maintenance becomes less efficient. Overall, insufficient protein intake after 60 directly contributes to gradual muscle loss, reduced strength, slower recovery, and increased leg weakness. It is one of the most important nutritional factors affecting mobility in older adults, and addressing it can significantly improve strength and independence over time. Vitamin D plays a very important role in keeping muscles strong and functioning properly, especially after the age of 60 when the body becomes more vulnerable to weakness and balance problems. When vitamin D levels are low, people often experience reduced muscle strength, slower movement, and a higher risk of falls. This is because vitamin D is not only important for bones, but also directly involved in how muscles contract and respond to signals from the nervous system. In the body, vitamin D helps regulate calcium, which is essential for muscle contractions. Every time you move your legs, whether walking, standing up, or climbing stairs, your muscles rely on a precise balance of calcium inside and outside the muscle cells. Vitamin D ensures that this balance is maintained. When vitamin D is insufficient, calcium regulation becomes less efficient, and muscles cannot contract as smoothly or as strongly. This leads to feelings of heaviness, weakness, or instability in the legs. As people age, the skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. At the same time, older adults often spend less time outdoors, which reduces natural sun exposure even further. Diet alone usually cannot provide enough vitamin D because there are only a few foods that contain it in meaningful amounts, such as fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy products. Because of this, deficiency is very common in older populations. Low vitamin D also affects muscle fiber quality. Muscle fibers depend on vitamin D receptors, which help maintain muscle strength and coordination. When vitamin D levels drop, these receptors do not function properly, which can lead to reduced muscle performance. This is especially noticeable in the large muscles of the legs, which are responsible for supporting body weight and maintaining balance while standing or walking. Another important effect of vitamin D deficiency is its link with slower reaction time and poor balance. The nervous system communicates with muscles to control movement, and vitamin D supports this communication process. When levels are low, nerve signals may not be transmitted as efficiently, which increases the risk of unsteady walking or stumbling. This is one reason why falls are more common in older adults with low vitamin D levels. Vitamin D also works closely with calcium and phosphorus to maintain bone strength. While this is not directly muscle function, weak bones combined with weak muscles can make the legs feel even less stable. If the bones are fragile and muscles are weak at the same time, everyday activities such as getting up from a chair or walking on uneven ground become more difficult and risky. In many cases, people do not realize they have low vitamin D because symptoms develop slowly. Early signs can include fatigue, mild muscle aches, or reduced stamina in the legs. Over time, this progresses into noticeable weakness and reduced mobility if not addressed. Improving vitamin D levels usually involves safe sun exposure, dietary sources, and sometimes supplements under medical guidance. Even small improvements in vitamin D status can lead to better muscle performance and improved balance over time. When combined with regular movement and adequate nutrition, restoring vitamin D levels can significantly reduce leg weakness and improve overall physical stability after 60. Omega-3 fats are essential healthy fats that play an important role in reducing inflammation and supporting muscle function, especially as the body ages after 60. When omega-3 intake is low, the body may experience higher levels of chronic inflammation, which can slowly damage muscle tissue and reduce the efficiency of muscle repair. This can contribute to weakness in the legs, slower recovery after activity, and reduced overall mobility. As people get older, the body naturally becomes more prone to low-grade inflammation. This is sometimes called inflammaging, which means a gradual increase in inflammatory activity in the body over time. While this is a normal part of aging, it can become worse when the diet lacks anti-inflammatory nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids. Without enough omega-3, the balance shifts toward more inflammation, which can negatively affect muscles, joints, and blood flow. Muscles in the legs are especially affected because they are used constantly for standing, walking, and maintaining balance. When inflammation is present, it can interfere with muscle protein synthesis, which is the process the body uses to repair and rebuild muscle fibers after daily wear and tear. If this repair process becomes less efficient, muscles slowly lose strength and endurance. This leads to fatigue more quickly during walking or climbing stairs and a general feeling of heaviness in the legs. Omega-3 fats also help improve blood circulation. Good blood flow is necessary for delivering oxygen and nutrients to muscle tissues. When circulation is reduced or less efficient, muscles do not receive the support they need to function at their best. This can make the legs feel weak or tired even after light activity. Omega-3 helps keep blood vessels flexible and supports smoother flow, which improves muscle performance and recovery. Another important role of omega-3 is supporting joint health. Many people over 60 experience joint stiffness, especially in the knees and hips. Omega-3 fatty acids help reduce joint inflammation, which can make movement easier and more comfortable. When joints are less painful, people are more likely to stay active, and regular movement is essential for maintaining muscle strength in the legs. Without enough omega-3, joint discomfort can discourage movement, leading to further muscle weakening over time. Omega-3 fats also support nerve function. Healthy nerves are necessary for proper muscle coordination and balance. When nerve signaling is less efficient, it can affect how quickly and accurately muscles respond during movement. This can increase the risk of instability or slower reaction times while walking. By supporting nerve health, omega-3 helps maintain smoother and more controlled movement in the lower body. Dietary sources of omega-3 include fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, as well as plant-based sources such as flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. However, many people do not consume these foods regularly, which can lead to low intake over time. In some cases, healthcare professionals may recommend supplements to ensure adequate levels, especially for older adults with limited dietary intake. When omega-3 levels are improved, many people notice better joint comfort, reduced stiffness, and improved energy during physical activity. Over time, this supports stronger and more functional leg muscles because the body is better able to recover from daily strain. Combined with proper protein intake, vitamin D, and regular movement, omega-3 fats play a key role in maintaining leg strength and reducing weakness after 60. Minerals like magnesium and potassium are extremely important for healthy muscle function, and when they are low, the body often shows early signs of weakness, cramps, and reduced endurance, especially in the legs after the age of 60. These two minerals work closely together to control how muscles contract, relax, and respond to nerve signals. When the balance of these minerals is disturbed, the muscles cannot function smoothly, which can make walking, standing, or climbing stairs more difficult. Magnesium plays a key role in muscle relaxation. Every muscle contraction is followed by a relaxation phase, and magnesium helps muscles return to their resting state after contracting. Without enough magnesium, muscles may stay partially contracted or become overly excitable, which can lead to tightness, stiffness, or cramping in the legs. This is why many older adults experience nighttime leg cramps or sudden spasms when magnesium levels are not sufficient. Potassium, on the other hand, is essential for muscle contraction and nerve communication. It helps generate electrical signals that allow muscles to respond when the brain sends movement commands. If potassium levels are too low, these signals become weaker or less consistent, leading to muscle weakness, fatigue, or slow response in the legs. This can make movements feel heavy or unsteady, especially during activities like standing up from a chair or walking for longer periods. As people age, the risk of magnesium and potassium deficiency increases for several reasons. Dietary intake often decreases because older adults may eat fewer fruits, vegetables, and whole foods that contain these minerals. At the same time, the body becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients from food. Certain medications, especially those used for blood pressure or heart conditions, can also reduce potassium or magnesium levels over time. This combination makes deficiencies more common after 60. Low magnesium and potassium levels also affect energy production inside muscle cells. Muscles need a steady supply of energy to function properly, and these minerals help regulate how cells produce and use energy. When levels are low, muscles tire more quickly, even during light activity. This is often experienced as early fatigue in the legs, where a person feels tired after only short walks or standing for a while. Another important effect is on nerve health. Muscles depend on nerves to receive signals from the brain, and both magnesium and potassium are involved in maintaining proper nerve function. When these minerals are not balanced, nerve signals may become irregular, which can lead to poor coordination, slower movement, or a feeling of weakness in the legs. In some cases, this can also increase the risk of falls because the body does not react quickly enough to maintain balance. Magnesium and potassium also help regulate fluid balance in the body. Proper hydration inside and outside cells is necessary for muscles to work efficiently. When this balance is disturbed, muscles can feel tight, swollen, or fatigued. This is another reason why dehydration combined with low mineral intake can quickly worsen leg weakness in older adults. Good sources of magnesium include leafy green vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and legumes. Potassium is found in bananas, oranges, potatoes, spinach, beans, and many fruits and vegetables. Eating a varied diet that includes these foods helps maintain proper muscle function and reduces the risk of weakness. When magnesium and potassium levels are restored, many people notice improvements in muscle relaxation, fewer cramps, better endurance, and stronger leg stability. Combined with proper hydration, balanced nutrition, and regular physical activity, these minerals play a crucial role in maintaining healthy and functional legs after 60. Physical activity is one of the most important factors for maintaining strong and healthy legs after 60, and a lack of movement is often one of the fastest reasons for muscle weakness. Even if a person eats a good diet with enough protein, vitamins, and minerals, the muscles still need regular use to stay strong. When the body is not active enough, it begins to lose muscle mass and strength because it no longer receives the signals that tell it to maintain or build muscle tissue. Muscles work on a simple principle, which is use it or lose it. Every time you walk, stand up, climb stairs, or even maintain balance, your leg muscles are being activated. These movements send signals to the brain and muscles that strength is needed. In response, the body maintains muscle fibers and keeps them functioning properly. When physical activity decreases, these signals become weaker, and the body slowly starts reducing muscle size because it assumes the extra strength is not required. After the age of 60, this process becomes even more important because the natural aging process already causes gradual muscle loss. Without regular movement, this loss speeds up significantly. This condition is often seen in older adults who spend long hours sitting or lying down. Over time, their legs become weaker, and simple activities like standing up, walking short distances, or climbing stairs start to feel difficult. Lack of physical activity also affects muscle strength in another way. When muscles are not used regularly, the number and efficiency of muscle fibers decrease. These fibers are responsible for generating force and movement. With reduced fiber activity, the legs lose power and endurance. This is why inactive individuals often feel tired quickly, even after minimal effort such as walking a short distance. Another important effect of inactivity is reduced blood circulation. Movement helps pump blood through the muscles, delivering oxygen and nutrients that are necessary for energy and repair. When a person is inactive, circulation becomes slower and muscles receive less oxygen. This leads to feelings of heaviness, stiffness, and fatigue in the legs. Poor circulation also slows down recovery, making muscles feel weak for longer periods. Physical inactivity also affects balance and coordination. The muscles in the legs work closely with the nervous system to maintain stability while standing and walking. When these muscles are not regularly engaged, coordination becomes less precise. This increases the risk of instability and falls, especially in older adults who already have slower reaction times due to aging. Joint stiffness is another consequence of low activity. Movement helps keep joints lubricated and flexible. When a person does not move enough, joints in the knees, hips, and ankles become stiff, making movement uncomfortable. This stiffness then discourages further activity, creating a cycle where less movement leads to more weakness and discomfort. In contrast, regular physical activity helps slow down all of these problems. Simple exercises like walking, light resistance training, stretching, or even household activities can significantly improve leg strength over time. These movements stimulate muscle repair, improve circulation, support joint flexibility, and maintain balance. Even small amounts of consistent activity can make a noticeable difference. The body responds quickly to movement at any age, and older muscles still have the ability to grow stronger when properly used. The key is regularity rather than intensity. Daily movement is far more beneficial than occasional heavy exercise. Overall, lack of physical activity is one of the most direct causes of leg weakness after 60 because it removes the stimulation muscles need to stay strong. When combined with proper nutrition and healthy habits, regular movement becomes the foundation for maintaining strength, independence, and mobility in later life.